Pearl Radio.
Power to the listeners.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Well, I start to sweat, man, I'm soaking wet. That's a night I can't forget.
1 minute after 10 a.m. Good morning to you wherever you are in Trinidad and Tobago and the Eastern Caribbean. 21st day of June 2020. Thank you for staying with us on U975 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, 10 until 1 p.m. with the issues of the day in Trinidad and Tobago, the wider Caribbean, and internationally matters in particular that Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much. Thanks to Shazad for wonderful entertainment, carefully selected as always. We wish him a happy day ahead and a great week. End of the first half of the year, heading ever closer to general election 20. We wish all fathers around the world happy Father's Day. We thank you for all you've done for your family and your loved ones, and we wish happy Father's Day greetings too to others who play the roles of fathers. We thank you very much. We wish you the very best today and going forward. And Duki, yours truly, Ken Ali, we have our colleague, reminds me to remind you that we are on a specially designated YouTube channel from today, RCL U975. RCL U975. You can log on also to 975radio.com. And of course, you can listen live on 97.5 FM. Thank you very much. We, as we always say, we greatly appreciate how. So you have more means to contact us. We want to hear what you have to say on the issues we are discussing and the wider on Sundays, 10 to 1, and we're here on afternoons, Monday to Thursday, from 3 to just before 6 p.m. Our colleague Sudat Prasad is here on Fridays from 3 to 6 p.m. There, we've gone through a rainy patch over the last few days. The weather person telling us hazy and windy conditions, expect a shower. So we're going through a windy period, partly cloudy, night with occasional showers. There's a moderate concentration of Sahara dust present in the atmosphere. So if you suffer from respiratory issues, of course, be very cautious today. 45 a.m., sunset 6:29. So the longest day of the year. What it really means is more sunlight hours than at any other time. Thank you again. We're going to discuss a lot with you today. The politics, much more taking place in the politics and other issues of national opening up the economy, more and more bars and restaurants, cinemas and members clubs opening from tomorrow, that is, until 10 p.m., beaches and rivers, malls and gyms and so on and so forth, essentially. And our listeners, I think just two areas, the airport or ports remain closed, except of course for trade activities, and also the schools remain closed until September. We have the SEA exam scheduled in mid to late. Minister yesterday, keeping that promise with respect to the continuous reopening of the economy. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have not had acting by community share for a long time. There were the last 6 cases that came out of a cruise ship. So there may be, I think, I'm not a medical expert, but there may be good justification in the continuous reopening of the economy. In terms of the politics, the People's National Movement has now identified, as they did the last few days, 40 out of the 41 candidates, and has put a deadline for the 41st seat, Lebre. The UNC yesterday identifying 5 more candidates to take the tally to 16. In case you missed it, and I know you did not, worth repeating, the candidate for Barataria Sawa is Senator Saddam Hussein. For Chaguanas West is Attorney Dinesh Rambali, Flora Singh for Rima, Maurice Hoyt for Dabadi O'Meara, and Nabilia Green. We would talk about that. My only comment on that so far is to say this: the PNM has named 40 out of 41 candidates. The UNC has named 16 out of 39. It is contesting only the seats in Trinidad, not the seats in Tobago. So we now have a majority of the candidates who would, from the 2 major parties. They are the ones from whom the electorate would decide the people to rescue Trinidad and Tobago from the biggest economic crisis we've had in almost in 40 years, really, because the last time was in the early 80s, and the experts, the financial and economic experts, are telling us this is worse than what took place in the early 80s. So from that pool, I have no comment to make except to tell you that is the team. You've seen them and you've heard of them on both sides. Of course, the UNC still to name several candidates, 23 in all, still to come from the UNC. We're hearing a lot of speculation about other names, but of course, full disclosure within the next few days. I feel for one, and I think I share that with most people, that we're heading to an election within the next 90 days. My view, COVID-19, well, what are your thoughts on that? We'll open our lines on that. 2 days ago, we had a very subdued and restrained Labor Day. The Minister of Labor is saying all parties are involved in the review of labor laws. She's held 36 consultations so far. Well, it took 5 years for all of that to happen, and still no amendment laws. And 2 people drowned on the beaches, and
although the beaches remain closed.
yes. And then we have the situation where 2 brothers stabbed each other to death. 2 brothers stabbed as if this country couldn't be mired in more and more challenges and difficulty and so on. In fact, 200 no outcry, and that no outcry really on 2-year-old Anya McLeod, who died with her father and murdered on Friday evening, and so on and so forth, and so on. Well, a whole lot else happening with respect to that. But the baby girl, Anaya McLeod, being fatally stabbed, and so on. Well, and then there is the police commissioner, Gary Griffiths, who manages each time to put himself in the middle of the story. And each time, even with the murder toll going up and up, manages to make himself an idle bystander instead of the man to whom the country must pay attention and must point fingers. And he is saying, where are the protests over Anaya McLeod? Right? And he's talking about that in the context of race, but for the police commissioner, I thought he should be providing answers more than asking questions. But of course, this is Trinidad and Tobago, where we all agree.
Trying to subdue the protests.
Indeed. But this is a real place, and the police commissioner asking about protests in a country with 216 murders. Anyway, a lot of focus, the media focusing on the marginal seats in, I'm just reading headlines, in Tunapuna, and they're quoting Esmond Ford, who's the incumbent. He says, people just want to hug me. And then there's another headline, Tunapuna residents give Esmond edge over a new kid. You know, I'm always very cautious about the fact that the media descends on a kid, says, I didn't come to fatten my pockets. Well, it's fascinating that of all the things he talked about in his opening interview with the media.
He said, I'm not a politician, Ken. Did you ever hear of a candidate?
Brilliant editorial this morning in which they take on the prime ministers. The headline says it all, going ballistic over nothing. If Gabriel Faria's casual cynicism about the prime minister into rage on social media, We politely suggest that in the interest of his mental well-being, that's the extra saying so, and not me, in the interest of his mental well-being, Dr. Rowley should avoid reading private exchanges in other people's chat groups and discourage his friends from leaking messages this matter. I sometimes really worry. In fact, I see Mariano Brown commenting on it in the other newspaper today. But here is what's happened, that Gabriel Faria sent his friends a message. I have a group in which, whatever is the name of the group, in which they exchange thoughts, and he is saying, well, listen, I really don't have no respect for the politicians. And he said, what he says, they will have one interest: win elections at the cost of, so the party in power can continue to live high off the backs of honest, tax-paying citizens. I am disgusted with the behavior, disdain, apathy displayed by both parties. Now, there's a man's view, and I may suggest there's the view of many people, not just Gabriel Faria, and so on. And the Prime Minister take it upon him to launch a blistering, caustic attack on him. I want to ask, I had a colleague in the media years ago named Keith Subero, who was working out of the Prime Minister's office. Keith Subero writing these things for him, just asking questions. Anyway, it goes on, says it's similar to something Mr. Pandey had done and so on. And here's this. When I read the editorial this morning, I put a mark close to it to raise this point. The Prime Minister is saying that as head of the chamber, Gabriel Faria can have no private view, because Mr. Faria is saying that's his private view. But the other day when Maxi Coffee issued a racist letter, the PNM's response was that was his private view. Dr. Rowley must indicate the Express. I'm just saying so. All right? But here's how the Express ends the editorial. Not only is Mr. Faria entitled to a private opinion, he's also entitled from his country's leader. Well said, Express. I want to commend the Express on its editorial, and I wish others who stand for freedom of speech and so on would have taken a stand similar on that and would still do that. In fact, a similar theme. This morning, I just want to read his opening paragraph. About 2 years ago, in a letter titled Let No Lifts and Lecturer Merle Hodge commented on, quote, this streak of the authoritarianism, the dictatorial gene of the People's National Movement. That is Merle Hodge, boy, talking some time ago. Commentary, which we'll get to as we move on from Mariano Brown. Right? So those are some of the issues we are following. There's a good story in The Guardian today, 4,000 Venezuelan women trafficked in last 4 years. We have a major issue with respect to that. So on this Father's Day, we thank you very much for being with us. Happy Father's Day for all fathers and all who wishes to you. We honor you and we thank you for the roles you're playing in your respective families. We're going to take a break. We have a number of interviews lined up, and we've been getting calls, but we would take those calls in a little while. We remind you, we are on even more social media platforms. So you go on YouTube, our channel rclu9radio.com. Of course, you can listen to us on the good old radio 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio, the 21st day of June 2020. I'm with Ann Duki and our colleague Shiva Paras from the man behind.
Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando, Rocha Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
Grand Diamond Hotel invites you to dine in our newest and exquisite grand opening Chai Thai restaurant situated at Golden Grove Road, Piaku. Come and enjoy our authentic Thai and Indian cuisine, and our outdoor terrace would be available from the 22nd of June. We can offer you our indoor and outdoor patio and rooftop restaurant dining. All meats halal. For reservations, call 331-5013-320-109. Us, chaitai19@gmail.com. Opening hours 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Takeaway and delivery services are available 11 a.m. to 2:20 p.m. Secured parking and excellent services. Get your vehicle looking like brand new again with quality paints available at Mongoose Paints. Visit us today at number 38 Southern Main Road, Macbean, Vancouver, or call 757-8831. Mongoose Paint Supplies.
Let us journey together with our specially reduced prices at Rollin Tire Importers Limited. All used tires $199, all sizes available. Brand new tires A+ range to 340. We also do computerized balancing. Nitrogen air also available. Check us out at Rollin Tire Importers Limited. Opening hours Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And for your ease of doing business, we and MasterCards. When rubber meets the road, Rollin Tire Importers Limited of Milton Road, Balmain Village, Couva. Contact us at 679-1985-225-7766 or 679-0450.
10:19 in Trinidad and Tobago in the Eastern Caribbean, and on this far also in the wonderful island of Tobago, where we have many listeners, and there is where we find one of the people of the hour in Trinidad and Tobago this time, outgoing member of Parliament for Barataria Samoa, former Minister of Health, Dr. Fuad Khan. Good morning, Dr. Khan.
Yes.
Okay.
And tightness.
Is the Sahara dust as bad as they make it out to be?
Very much so. It affects the respiratory system and also the lungs, and anybody allergic reactions could be under some pressure.
So you stay away as much as you could?
Well, you can't stay away. You have to take your medication.
Right. Okay, good. Now, I have a lot of ground I want to cover. I want to ask you, and this has been on my mind ever since you announced your retirement. What would you like to be your legacy as a member of Parliament for, I think it's 23 years for Barataria Samoa?
Boy, Ken, I've never seen that. I just did everything one day at a time and hope to have done my best each day. So I never really gave it a thought about what will be a legacy. I just hope that the people of the area and the people that I served would have been happy.
What do you think you achieved best in?
Well, I think I achieved best in, well, I can't say infrastructure because that's a council and a government thing. But I think are still loving each other, and even as I've left, we still love each other. It wasn't something that where you want the MP to stay. And I think by doing that, the people and me we have a connection.
Right, and the other matter that has been on my mind since you announced your retirement is, why go to the screening committee and announce your retirement there?
Well, the thing about it, I was wavering. Because the people of Barataria Samoa, they are my biggest asset. And I wanted to not disappoint them. So when they indicated that they want me to put my name up in the screening committee, I obliged, even though I was thinking along a different line. And when I went to the screening committee, I decided, based on the area and the feelings, that, you know something, Fuad? Hear what? Go before the sun has set.
You say you're tired on. Tell us more.
Well, I don't want to go that way, Ken. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to go that way because people tend to read those things wrongly.
But that must have been a factor to not to contest again, not to put yourself up to the committee.
But it's personal.
It's personal. Okay, good. We respect that. What do you think about the person who the UNC has elected to succeed you as candidate?
I think the UNC screening committee would have looked at everything and created a decision. I really know Saddam as a senator, and he's been basically very vocal as a senator in the parliament. And I hope that he is able to link with the people, which is what is the most important thing as representatives, which is what I will...
You know, I'm not hearing you giving him a ringing endorsement.
Well, I can't when I say a ringing endorsement, you have to know the person.
Well enough.
But I will know him over the next couple of weeks.
Are you going to campaign with him?
Well, yes.
What do you think of the party's chances at this time for the election?
It's going to be a very tight, very rough election. I think that it's not going to be an easy walkover. But UNC has done their work, and basically PNM is doing their work.
40 votes is what you won the seat by the last time. And it's getting tighter and tighter in that seat.
Well, Ken, when you look at it, everybody else in the UNC lost their seats. San Fernando West able to hold that seat with 556 votes in a time when a wave was given the PNM all the seats. So at the end of the day, satisfied with the PNM. That's the only time you build.
So is it that you anticipate another close battle there?
Yes.
Now we're hearing, how important is the Muslim vote to that seat? Because I asked that because in UNC camp,
yes, they did. They always put a Muslim candidate against me.
After Kamal Mohammed, there's a man named Ross.
Yes.
There's a man named JW this time.
No. There was Hafiz Ali. There was Fiyaz Ali twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how important is a Muslim candidate in the constituency?
Personally, I think it the crossover vote of the Muslim makes a difference.
So in that respect, the UNC did a good thing?
I think so.
Right. Still have the influence in the politics they used to?
Well, the mosque has the influence more so than Mohammed will.
Okay. For campaigning in Barataria Sawa?
When the issues for campaigning in Barataria Sawa is more national issues, not local issues, because locally it is taken care of.
Do you have a view on the candidates being announced first by the... What do you think they're wonderful crop? They will help us deal with the crisis that facing the country. You don't feel that way? Or are you going to express a view publicly or not?
No, I don't understand the question.
All right. How do you feel about the candidates the UNC has announced? They have announced 16 now. Are you quite excited about them?
Well, they are very new candidates. Very, much of them will not know them. But at the end of the day, the screening committee and the political leader knows best.
Okay. Dr. Khan, I want to talk a little bit about COVID-19. The Prime Minister is saying today that the government handled it well. What do you think?
Well, we keeping with the circumstances, the government handled it the way they were supposed to handle it. There's no other way they could have handled it, because they were locators and the power directors. I personally believe that the COVID, and it's really and truly not handled today. They've mashed up the freedoms, mashed up the economy. Kudos to them.
That the government took measures that did not need to take?
You look at the Taiwanese model, you look at the Swedish model, all of them allow their economies to continue. This government crashed everything, and at the same time, draconian measures as the ocean to cause mass incarceration, increase the welfare state.
But we've lifted all the sanctions.
I have a different view. You have a lockdown started. You have nobody inside there with COVID. There's no deaths. There's no testing. There's nothing. And people are walking around the place without masks. They're close together, everything else. And no COVID has been increased.
A huge spike internationally. In the U.S., including nearby Florida, they have a lot of cases. Does that create some anxiety by you?
No, amount of cases infected does not mean deaths. They haven't died.
No, but
with this pandemic, they're running after the amount of cases. They're not, but out of the cases, 99% of them recover. But nobody's saying that. They're only saying cases, and quoting the world death figure, which makes absolutely fear-mongering in place. And the thing of people who die are people who would have died with anything of flu or fear-mongering and media push that is causing. But infected people are not dead people. They're not dying.
Yeah. What about these new medications we're hearing? This new one, the British scientists have suggested.
Is used in a late stage when your lungs are going to give up.
Right.
And it has been the study that debunked hydroxychloroquine, that has been retracted because there was poor investigation.
How did Minister Diyal Singh handle this? How would you analyze his performance?
His performance, he handled it by being a good PR person. He on the TV all the time. And at the end of the day, just mounting off what the They didn't do anything spectacular, but because it became spectacular, they're dead. That is a man in the street kind of talk.
Mm-hmm. What about Dr. Roshan Parasram?
What's that?
What about Dr. Roshan Parasram? How do you evaluate his performance?
To 10, about 5.
Why? Why 5? Why not more?
Because he should know better as a medical doctor that infected rate and infection is not death. The death rate is very minuscule, and he should not be putting all those draconian measures on the and suggesting it on the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay. Do you have a fear, Dr. Khan, about campaigning heading into the election? There may be some public meetings. Do you, and others calling it a major opportunity to spread the disease and so on. Do you have a fear like that in Trinidad?
I think that is rubbish. I think it's fear-mongering again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What next for you, Dr. Khan?
Say that again?
What next for you professionally?
Well, Ken, I am a professional urologist, and my medicine really comes first.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I'm going strong into my medicine, research and that type of thing, teaching. So I have a...
Confident first about the UNC. The UNC is in good hands. It's moving, marching forward and so on.
But they say...
Are you confident about the UNC, its leadership, its candidates, and so on? Do you feel...
Since 2010, so obviously they continue on the path that they are going.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't say much, Dr. Khan.
Well,
let's move to the PNM. What do you say about what do you say?
Thanks to COVID. If it wasn't for COVID, it would be history.
Mm-hmm. When do you expect the election date?
I was thinking the first week in August, but now it may look like September because a lot of the policies the PNM has been doing has been stopping in the end of August.
Mm-hmm. Early September, you're saying?
Most likely.
You have a forecast on how you think it will go?
Not really. It's going to be very tight side.
And what advice would you give then? Public advice?
I mean, for my UNC?
Yes.
But just continue to what you're doing because you're doing it. You're obviously been working long for a while, and just continue.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us, Dr. Khan? How long are you in Tobago for? Are you coming back soon, or are you going to spend some time?
Tonight. I'll come back tonight.
Okay, good. All right. Anything else you want to share with us?
Not really. We cover quite a bit.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Khan. Best
Thanks
wishes to Fuad Khan, outgoing Member of Parliament for Barataria Sawa. Our first interview this morning, he announced, quite surprisingly to many people, that he was not offering himself back for candidacy for less. Very surprising, and also in listening to him, you may find it is not just what he said, but what he didn't say. It is 26 minutes to the hour of 11. We have more lined up on 10 to 1, but we could take some calls if you want. We'll have a quick exchange at 9. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Ken.
Morning.
Morning.
I find Mr. Khan was flip-flopping.
Sorry?
He was flip-flopping.
Flip-flopping.
Flip-flop him, okay.
Okay.
He wasn't going up. Then after he changed his mind. Then at 11th hour, he changed his mind again. I don't understand what is his problem.
Mm-hmm.
He gets in Barataria Sawa into a moment. They're not here, and they're going to go from the ground up.
So you think him pulling out of candidacy would make it more difficult for the UNC to win?
Yeah, it's going to be an even dog fight now. The PNM going to have a more better chance to win their seat now. Because the incumbent would have had a greater responsibility and a greater backing. Because he has all the Muslim support and all the other races in this constituency, including mine. I was saying that he was showing for the first, and some people were telling me that General Ramnarayan is pretty committed. I don't know how true is that, but I hope that he will get in order from that side. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. In speculation, we leave that to the political leaders and those whose job it is to announce candidates. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Kenali. Morning, Miss Anduki. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Thank you.
I'm just now there. And I was just watching around, and I don't know, well, we may start to have a lot of public meetings just now. Because remember, normally TV6ers go around to the different villages and I try and get into the candidates and the people and so on, to hear their feedback and so on. So let us see how it rolls out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it? Okay, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Ali.
Good morning.
And good morning, Anne.
Good morning.
Father's Day. I got a surprise for my son this morning. After I pray, I went back in bed. Mommy, I'm smelling something. So what are you cooking? He didn't answer me. He brought pizza for me in bed. So he took the place of his father, who have gone to the great beyond to bring me pizza in bed this morning. That was so sweet of him. But anyhow, Mr. Ali, the gentleman who just spoke, I agree with him. Because if Mr. Can't make the blunder, he not go in and he go back and these kind of things. Because you know and I know and the public know how PNM, and they make a big hullabaloo about it, and then people forget about what it is they are listening to and what they are hearing and go with all the propaganda. Mr. Ali, it is election time. And I personally would not like to see the PNM come back in government. Let's do it right. Let us fix all the wrong now and fix it correct into the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago. Not for ourselves, but for the people to have a better life because of this, what it is going on around the world. We don't know how long it will last and what will happen next. So much people, businesses are closed down. So much people are unemployed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. 636-75472. General election of 2020. Let's hear some more callers. Good morning to you.
Miss Ali.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, and Miss Dookie, thanks for taking my call. Happy Father's Day to you and all the other fathers around. I wake up and I get a lot of gifts. However, listen. Now, Mr. Khan missed the point. When you ask him about the election results, he should have tell you what I am going to tell you. In 2010, at all, she was able to capture 29 seats. Is the most seats the UNC ever win. She lost those 11 seats. So if you know election well, you will know that you cannot predict whether the UNC will win or the UNC will lose, because there's a lobby. You see, Mr. This is some missed constituencies like Borneo West, Arima, Lahore Keta, Arima, and St. Joseph, Tonapuna, San Fernando West. They fail in the opportunity to go there and organize those constituencies into their constituencies and their the ONR vote. You see, when the PNM broke up in 1986 and Mr. Pandey came out, the ONR votes remained. There were 100 and something votes in 81. They remained, but they did not go back to PNM till I die. They voted Mr. Pandey in 2000. So that is where she failed. But if they decide to vote back UN and decide to vote back PNM will win the election. So they cannot predict the votes. It is the laziness constituencies into proper voting machines like the PNM do with their others. So they will lose if the ONR people decide who will win. Thank you. Sorry to take your
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your analysis. 19 minutes to 11. We can take some more calls. We have more scheduled for discussions this morning, but we want to get you as part of the program. 636-754-7227-5739. Good morning.
Mr. Ali and good morning and happy Father's Day to all fathers. I am not that fortunate. My daughter is still stuck in India.
Oh, she still is?
Yeah, boy.
I wondered about that. Mm-hmm.
Well, everything revolves around a flight coming from India, which has not been happening.
Okay.
But anyway, what I'm calling for, I heard Dr. Fuad Khan responded to a question of yours, and your response was nice. Fell short of Mr. Saddam Hussein. Let me just say that I'm very, very happy. I'm very proud that the UNC has selected this young man. I just want to, 10 years ago, right, when we here in Konopia were fighting the PNM government on that rapid rail issue, I happened to be in the forefront of that struggle. And there was a young man from Chin Chin, that is Saddam, who came on board with us, right? He spoke on several times in our platform. And I saw in him then, that is 10 years ago, I'm talking him tremendous potential. I saw in that young man someone who has come from the ordinary people, and and I saw a great amount of sincerity in him, and then following his appointment as a senator and tra-la-la-la-la. I wish him well. I have in my mind no doubt, that this young man is going to make a tremendous sacrifice on the political front, and I wish him well. And I wish if all those in Barataria, Sama Barataria, would know more about him in the coming days and give him their support. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much to share with us. 636-7547-227-5739. Good morning to you.
Morning, Mr. Ali.
Good morning.
And happy Father's Day.
Yes, thank you. Happy Father's Day to you too.
Thank you very much, and good morning to Mr. Duki.
Good morning.
Mr. Ali, I suspect, that Mr. Khan has some kind of apprehension given the results of the last election, and he prefers to go out as a winner, not as a loser. Because the margin of victory was only 500 votes.
Yes.
So I would say no more on that. But you said 16 seats have already been candidates
by the UNC, yes.
By the UNC,
yeah.
and I expect 12 more out of the 18 incumbents to go up, which will make it 28.
Say it again. You expect 12 of the 18.
12 out of the balance.
All right.
Because we have Mr. Mr. Fuad Khan not going up. We have Suraj Rambachan not going back up. Neither Tim Gopi Singh. So that is 4, leaving at 14. And I expect 2 of the incumbents not to go back. I wouldn't say who they are. So so we have 12 and 16, I'll be 28. That will leave you with 11, Mr. Ali. I expect the 2 of the incumbent seats that are not going up to be winnable seats by the UNC. 9. And where are those 9 seats, Mr. Ali? I haven't heard any candidate for Lupino Bornier. I haven't heard for Maloney. I haven't heard for La Hoqueta Talparo, and the Lavantil seats, I haven't heard any. So those are seats held by the PNM at this time, So the UNC only needs to get 21 seats to win the election. So I wait to see who those candidates are, Mr. Ali, but I suspect that the UNC is going to name those candidates soon. But we have to know who those candidates are, and those can't recall, or I don't know, announce all the candidates, all those seats now, although I mentioned a few. But there are others that I can't recall right now that they have not put up candidates for. But those are, I think they are on the right track. They have already, if we say that 12 more are going back up, they have 28 candidates up, have already been announced. So we wait to see. They only need 21, Mr. Ali. I
like the simple manner in which you did use that. They only need 21. What is 21?
21 is the margin of victory.
No, I like the simple, dismissive, or almost tone in which you said that. They only need 21.
He simplifies it.
Yeah, I like that
nothing.
manner. Okay,
no, there's some are incumbents.
And there's an easy assumption that the UNC wins all the 18, so just 3 more. I hear it too. I hear it from my friends. I hear that analysis all the time. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning to you, Mr. Ali, and happy Father's Day.
Yes, thank you. Best wishes.
And good morning to Miss Anne. I'm calling to get some information on the NHA had a draw on the 3rd of June.
Who had a draw?
The NHA.
NHA.
Yes.
My name was one on it, and it have the number when I check the electronic media draw. But how are you contacting them?
You have to contact the NHA,
well,
otherwise known as the HDC.
Well, right. I tried calling them, but nobody.
Get there.
Go in person. I would advise you to go in person.
When you're getting a whole house and you don't find yourself there?
Yes, I find myself up there.
Go there and talk to the people. Make noise with them. Talk to the MP and
they say they was going to publish the draw on papers today. And
they went on their website?
Yes, the name is there. It has a lot, 500 names.
Mm-hmm. So
I
what's
don't
the
know
issue?
If I could get some information as to how to go about this.
I would advise you to go directly to the head office.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will be doing that again this week. But if you can get some advice from
If we find any advice during the week, we will announce
Thank you.
it.
If I get a house, I find myself there and I leave it till I find out
That's
more.
like you win a lottery, Ken.
The UNC, and I like the manner in which this thing is analyzed. I just need 3 more. I wanted to call the names of the candidates announced yesterday, but first let me take this call. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Good morning, Anne.
Good morning.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, thank you, and to you.
Trinidad and by extension the world. Happy Father's Day. Now, how long you know this fellow they call Roger, the government was going to let them acquire Petrotrin?
Mm-hmm.
How long? About a year now?
Yeah, I think it's 18 months.
Okay, 18 months. It take him to know that the workers going to get back their job.
Mm-hmm.
He come and gallery, he behind on the 19th, they call Labor Day. And I want this government. Now, he's not a PNM, but he's supporting them with the Venezuela thing, the Dragon deal, and how America oppressed them and this kind of. These people, just few people, are going to put us in some seat with America, Ken. The people put a sanction on America. They put what I think is some money on Maduro and this Dulce who come here head, and the whole staying away from Venezuela except Roger and the PNM. Well, I don't know if the whole PNM, but this man, the Prime Minister and Stuart Young and the four of them upstairs in the PNM, they go put us in some serious trouble with these people, you know. Because if they put a sanction on us, Roger and the I don't know where they're going with this thing about this PNM and Venezuela. And the next thing is, they say the border lockdown. How 21 people coming in from Venezuela in this country? It opened down in the Western Peninsula because they keep coming down in here. And I want to say something again. You watch yesterday's, you just go through all the dailies, Ken. You see the yesterday's papers with the marching in Labor Day? How much people you see there 6 feet apart?
Well, yes.
And how much time you see without masks? And the police was in the midst of them, but they didn't lock up nobody. But they went down penal by 2 bar and lock up 25 people. Right? And in Kunupia in the news, well, they didn't show it, but they say it in the line with a van outside a bar and they lock up 12 people. But they couldn't lock them up in the savannah with police, commissioner there, and they couldn't lock them up down in the march. But they call and Kunupia. I don't want to go further because they go say I'm a racist, which I am.
Which you are.
Yes, I am. Since Eric William called me
he did?
a recalcitrant minority and I have hookworm in my head.
Right.
And nobody in the PNM didn't say anything. And then they come with this Calcutta crap with a prime minister sitting down there clapping. I am a racist. I had me on the phone and Eric, I call you. I am a racist. Have a nice day, sir.
I won't define you as a racist for making those points. I think that they were discriminatory with respect to that, making the arrests in some places and not in other places. Good morning to you.
Mr. Ali, just to complete what I was saying.
Yes.
So I am expecting the UNC to hold on to the 18 they already have.
Right.
I expect them to win Moruga Tableland. I expect them to win Sandy Grande, Toko Sandy Grande. That will make them 20. And either San Fernando West or La Joqueta Alparo. And don't forget, we have Tobago East.
Now, I want to ask you something. Have you been making the rounds in this conclusion?
Well, I haven't been making it wrong, Mr. Ali, but I know what's happening in those constituencies. And I can't see Gypsy Peters winning out of Moruga Tableland. I can't see that at all. Given the results of the last election where there was I think there was a district in Moruga Tableland that the UNC won handsomely. And also, given the results of the last local election in Toko Sandy Grande, I expect the UNC to win that seat in the general election. So as I was saying, it's either San Fernando West or La Joqueta Talparo, where Julian John has been doing a lot of work. And if that doesn't work out, I expect Tobago East with the head.
Yeah, but the PSA head is not a UNC candidate, eh?
I know he's not a UNC candidate, but I do expect him, if he wins that seat, to go and have any coalition with the PNM.
Or
what?
All right.
I do expect
all right.
him to go there.
I want to tell you.
Yet to be seen.
Listen to my comment when you're through. Okay, thank you very much. You're through?
Yeah, I am.
Listen off here.
No, and that leads me to someone I wanted to talk about, and you inadvertently reminded me. Politics really, Mr. Pandey said it had a morality of its own. I'm going to talk about a gentleman named Fayed Ali, but I'll talk about that right after this call. Good morning to you.
Ken and Ann.
Good morning.
Morning.
And this is the man thinking from outside the cardboard box. Happy Father's Day to all fathers and single mothers who have brought up their child. And on behalf of God, happy Father's Day to the Honorable. You know where I'm going with that. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is this Ghana election, Ken. And I'm twisting it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The MP from Aruga, remember he put up a post that UNC lost another election?
Mm-hmm.
And I connected with that. And I wonder if that man is a prophet boy. Because I see a former Attorney General for the PNM doctrine on behalf of the people who trying to prevent a declaration by Jicom, and he in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I put 2 and 2 together and I get 5. And I say, that man must have something up his sleeve. He know what's going on. So that's why he put up that post. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So anything to play out with these things, you know, and we don't want nothing like when rain falling. We don't want nothing like when rain falling. They have to get the weather report in a whole 3 months in advance and tell us if it's going to be raining on that day. You understand? Fancy and make all kind of declaration. We have to be very, very careful. We have to anticipate and prepare our documents to go to court, petition if they do anything untoward. As soon as something untoward, go to court right away.
Mm-hmm.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Okay.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Ms. Duki.
Morning.
Let me say a blessed Father's Day to you, Ken, and a blessed Father's Day to all fathers of Trinidad and Tobago, by extension, the world. I want to say happy Father's Day to the guru of the area, Long Circular. I want to say that. Ken, I have a problem today in this country. Why is we call for young people to come to serve? And when young people come in to serve now, and he's supposed to be known in this country because many times in Parliament he and ministers have he carry bills. He been working very hard in Parliament and out of Parliament. So I know that seat will return to the UNC. But when young people are coming, there's that generation of the older head trying to keep them down and saying that nobody know them, who is them. And we are asking for young people to come in the politics. And why is the leader is pushing the young one first before she select the senior? It has many people in the party and in the country have a problem with that. I am saying no. I am saying no about that. I am saying give the young people a chance. It is the only way that we could know if they're ready capable to do the job and they could do the job. So I like I think that it is a strength for young people to understand that there's a party in place that say we're all young. And Ken, last night there was one rally since after the COVID-19 in the United States of America.
Actually, it wasn't so big, Kingsley.
Huh?
Three-quarter box center was empty. I had 6,000 people.
No,
it wasn't so big as all that. But go ahead and make your point.
As Fuad saying, the media and the fake news. The media just point to a certain thing and that because that was a fight down. Because when Trump was burning up that much, and Ken, I want this. It is time for we to go back in public meetings. I am saying this: public meetings supposed to be done start back already in this country.
Okay.
Because before I go, Ken, because as I say that if we didn't have this virus still, all now if we didn't have this virus still, all now the whole of the country would have been getting a community spread. This is the problem with the PNM. PNM are campaigning on this COVID-19. They are using the numbers to try to say this, to try to say that. But I am saying this: the world is getting back on the foot. We're not going to make I thinking like Trump. I am not going to make COVID-19 stop me from going out there. I'm not going to make COVID-19 stop me from going to the beach, going to the park. I'm going to live my life, but I'm going to be very careful. Why is that how they can? So I want to say that we need meetings, political parties, supposed to be done out there already. keeping public meetings, Ken.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're not talking about that meeting last night. Here's what the president had said. He said that almost 1 million people had requested tickets, right, for the event. Almost 1 million, right? And this is BBC. I'm not accessing CNN because people say CNN is biased. But the BBC is saying, but the 19,000-seat arena was far from full, right, and so on. And plans for him to address an outside overflow area were abandoned. Good morning.
Mr. Ali Akwebe in Dungeon.
Uh-huh.
Let me remind you that the last election in Jamaica came down 31, and Mr. Holness has been in power since. And Dr. Rowley himself expressed the view very early in the piece that the UNC retained 18 seats, and he himself said there are only 3 seats away from government. So keep all of that in your mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Holness has been a very effective Prime Minister of Jamaica. And says we need to take a break. Give me a few seconds to tell the Fayed Ali story quickly, because when we come back, I want to get back to some more interviews. So Fayed Ali is a gentleman who apparently was an outstanding, your calls are coming in, but I just want to finish this story quickly. He was an outstanding educator in San Fernando and teachings and so on, for which he deserves a lot of credit. And I duly pay that credit here to him. And he was one of those who vied to become the candidate for some democratic right to do. And so on. He went to screening and he was bypassed and ignored. And there was a lot of dissatisfaction for people close to him and so on. They said he, is a mature gentleman, he retired, and he's well known. He impacted many, many people's lives and so on and so forth. Well, that's democracy. Only one person could be selected. They selected a young gentleman, an attorney named Sean Sobers. So far, so good. Still writing and attacking the PNM for non-performance and so on and so forth. And then some pictures appeared yesterday and our listeners on social media with the man hugging up. When I say hugging up, you know what I mean in a sporting way. Let me make that very clear. And his name is Faris Al-Rawi, and then he put on a red shirt. And people felt something wrong here, somebody could doctor this thing, And then he wrote a lengthy statement. This is the person who had criticized the PNM's performance generally for 5 years, the PNM in San Fernando West specifically for 5 years, and then he says his rationale and tell me he had plans for the future. This is Mr. Al-Rawi, who did nothing in the constituency, essentially nothing, and I'll go into that during the course of the week, possibly, if not today. And then our dear friend Fayed Ali determines on the basis of his plans he went to the PNM. You see, you understand why trust in those who present themselves as politicians, and you see why Mr. Pandey wasn't right when he said politics has a morality of its own. Politics has no morality. And I wonder how people, especially those young lives whom Fayed Ali on social media, his justification, how they feel. Where does morality fit into politics? It's top of the hour, 11 o'clock. We take a break and we come back.
Time has come. New 97.5 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
New 97.5 FM, hot like pepper, multicultural radio.
Power to the listeners.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia. For all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters, and water pumps. Plus all parts for Gould, Pentax, and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands such as Cooper, Eno, Leviton, and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia.
Grand Diamond Hotel invites you to dine in our newest and exquisite grand opening Chai Thai restaurant situated at LP 12 Golden Grove Road, Piaku. Come and enjoy our authentic Thai and Indian cuisine, and our would be available from the 22nd of June. We can offer you our indoor and outdoor patio and rooftop restaurant dining. All meats halal. For reservations, call 331-5013.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, super quality supermarket and quality cash and carry supermarket.
Five minutes after 11 o'clock this Sunday morning, Father's Day in Trinidad and Tobago and around the world. Happy Father's Day to all dads and those who play the roles of fathers. We thank you very much. We wish you the June heading toward not just the end of June, the end of the first half of the year. And if you are, like many of us, focusing on the general election, we are very close to the election. So we are taking your calls and we have other interviews lined up on this Sunday morning. We want to give you some updates on some other matters, but just for those who may have missed it, the UNC announcing some candidates yesterday. Saddam Hussein, the senator, replaces Dr. Fuad Khan as the UNC's candidate for Barataria Sawa, and he will come up against Jason Williams, former Road March champion, and so on. Dinesh Rambali at Chaguanas West, Flora Singh at Arima, Maurice Hoyda, Abadi Omera, and Nabila Green to San Grande. Well, let's get some perspective on all of that. Here's a voice, Indira Rampasad. Good morning, Dr. Rampasad.
Good morning, Mr. Ali.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Very good. We haven't heard you here before. I'm anxious to get your take on how you think both parties are doing and the candidates and so on.
Well, generally, they both screened. I heard the UNC announce that they had completed screening. The PNM had completed screening before. So I think they're getting in state of readiness, which is still a move at this time because we expect the election. So by having the candidate, it's a move in the right direction. So
all right, we know all of that. I want your analysis of it.
Analysis of what?
The two slates, how are they doing with their candidates? What is your take on their candidates?
Well, I think that several of the PNM candidates have been returned. There have been a few new ones. When there seems to be more new ones than those retained. So that augurs both, good and bad for both parties.
Mm-hmm.
What returning candidates tend to bring is experience and know-how. So they have a certain amount of expertise and skills in the area, and the experience that they bring to bear can assist, particularly in the governance of with their baggage, especially if the baggage is negative. So this negativity doesn't augur well to returning candidates if they were a non-performing MP or a non-performing minister in government. And the same would apply to UNC, but all the new faces, I think that a lot of the baggage has been shed, if there were in the past. It's good to see new people and hope that they will be able to perform. The disadvantage of that is that level of experience that they would not have, either as members of parliament or in government.
Mm-hmm. And out of all of that, who stands out, who you think brings great value to both parties?
She's a welcome retain by most people in Arena. Mm-hmm. She was the favored candidate, and hence means that they went to bring her back. So I think she is definitely an asset for the PNM in Arima. With regard to the UNC, we have seen very new cases, some refreshing cases, having the national and international footballer.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Hunt, also a new thing. And these people are coming without anything, well, not at all, but this time, when the campaign built up, we don't know what date will be back up, but at this time, they're not coming with any negative candidates there in Edmund Ford, but not unwinnable. And then the other marginal constituencies that you have, San Fernando West, where you have incumbent Faris Alawi, and coming in with some baggage, but you have able to bring votes during the local elections, and he's able to continue in that trend. The same for the candidate in Michelle in Maruga Tableland. She's also been a counselor. She is a counselor, actually. So she has that knowledge of the seat and intimate knowledge of the constituency, which was probably the most marginal of the marginals in the last year. So she's hoping to bridge that gap, those few votes there, and bring that seat home. Dipsy, who is also coming in with experience but with baggage, and was not successful in getting the Mayaro seat in 2015, got the nod for Moruga Tableland in 2020 on the PNM banner, and I don't know how well that will augur for the party, because he's now quite, what you call all in the politics. I think to see a new candidate, because there's contention in the PNM camp with the outgoing candidate, Lovell Francis.
Yeah, good analysis. Now, moving forward, the UNC still has several candidates to announce. There's a lot of speculation about how many of its incumbents it would retain. Your own speculation, I know you don't have an inside peek into what is happening, but what do you anticipate?
Well, I expect she has said she is going to have a happy mix with some old and some new. We've already seen a lot of new in the marginals, where I think the election is really going to be fought. I just need a lot of those new ones. We see a new one in a Topo Sandy Grande as well, which is a marginal constituency. And La Huaquita Alfaro, I think we can also lump that into the marginals. But with regard to the returns, I see Dr. Munilal returning. I think he's been quite... he's got a gift of the gab in the parliament, and he's quite a good parliamentarian in terms of his capacity to debate. I see probably Mr. Prasad from whoever as the Minister of Tertiary Education. He's always been very loyal to the leader. I know that Mr. Gopi Singh, Mr. Ambachan, Dr. Gopi Singh, that is, Dr. Fuad Khan, they will bowed out. Dr. Botiwari, I don't know if that has been confirmed that he's bowed out too. But there's someone that will be returned, because the opposition leader had stated that she wanted this mix of experience and fresh faces. So we will see that. And it's now basically left what in the UNC camp is there's no safe seats. So I think UNC is winning their safety, the base seats as we call them. They will have to do the necessary work, but it is the marginals that will require the bulk of the campaign and the bulk of the work. So I think the resources are being expended there in the marginals. But once the candidates are named for these safe seats, they will be responsible for working their respective constituencies.
Were you surprised that Dr. Khan withdrew as a candidate?
Not very surprised. He has been a good member of parliament, good candidate for Sawabar area, and that he's been winning with his country, because he has been making utterances to this effect, and sometimes contradictory, but I think that he really does want to focus on his medical practice. He's had a long, successful career in politics. He didn't win the seat by a great majority in the last election, but I think he's decided, and he's been very magnanimous about it, to move on and give someone else a chance. And there are times when leaders have to do that. So I don't think it's any falling out, as he said. And he did leave. He didn't burn bridges. He left his door open that he may want to come back. So politicians sometimes do one trick. And he has a very, very successful medical practice. Well known for that as a surgeon, so in urology. So I wasn't very surprised, and in some ways one can admire the decision he's taken.
And Dr. Rampersad, Dr. Rowley is just over 70 now, Mrs. 60s. They must be looking, or at least the organization must be looking at successorship. Do you, from these candidates you've seen so far, suggest that we could have a successor there? What are your thoughts?
Society chose out its leadership. You sometimes would be surprised at how someone just emerges, and we have seen it with President Obama. You know, we have seen it, even we didn't expect out of Dr. Rowley to emerge as the Prime Minister. Some years ago, we wouldn't have expected it. So, in terms of successors, it can be very surprising. The UNC, we have Dr. Monilal, we have some experienced ones. Any one of them can emerge a leader. It will depend who the people endorse. With regard to the PNM, we see Penny retaining. Maybe that is a sign that the party is considering as a sister, so they maybe have put them back in place with Penelope Buffalo. But like I said, that is really up to the electorate, it is up to the population and the society to endorse a candidate to the extent that that candidate carries a base. Once that candidate is seen as capable, that candidate, as we saw with Kamala predecessor in 2009 and 10, lot of the people and can emerge as the leader. So that is what you need. You need the support of the people for a that they emerge.
Mm-hmm. You these have been making the point, especially earlier this morning, that the candidates we are saying would form the nucleus of those who would lead the country forward in the midst of the worst economic crisis in a very long time. Do you see the competence on both sides?
Well, we have heard from most of the candidates of the UNC. We have had it for the PNM, but I think, it's not only the candidates we have to look at in this respect, and you also have to look at the technical advisors as well in the ministry, because there are also opportunities to bring in advisors in the ministry. And I think both parties will be looking at the economists and the financial advisors for that choice, for that particular expertise, that skill. While you have the members of parliament, some of them emerging as ministers, a lot of times within them you have technical advisors, permanent secretaries in the various ministries to help them with this process. So I'm sure in the Ministry of Finance, they have technical advisors. They also need legal advisors, which they have. Ministry of Trade, you will also find that. What they also need to do is to, seek the assistance of their qualified economists in the country. And we have a lot of them. Qualified economists can also bring something to bear. There are people with skills in business management, business managers can also be of assistance. So that kind of stuff. And you can always bring them either to the Senate or you can bring them as advisors in the ministry, technical advisors.
This is going to be a different campaign, Dr. Prasad, because of COVID-19, a short campaign to begin with. First of all, do we agree on that it's going to be a very short public campaign?
Well, I always say, Ken, that a day in politics is like a lifetime. And if you campaign for a month, it's quite a lot. And it consumes a lot of energy and a lot of resources. So they have to look at how much resources they have as well. Now, what we would find is that traditionally there was a air campaign and a ground campaign. But there was a lot of a ground campaign with the motorcades, with the MPs walking around with their entourage and whatnot. So we would find that this particular election is different in that the focus is more on an air campaign. It will be the mainstream media, electronic media, both print and electronic, and the social media is going to play an exponential role in this particular election. Now, that doesn't preclude the candidates, and I believe they have to do it. They can walk with an entourage of about the maximum number that is allowed, which I believe might be 10 people, because that is important. I always believe the ground campaign is critical. The UNC has been engaging in heavy ground campaign. We haven't seen the air campaign being built up yet by either party, but you would recall in the last local, the PNM would have had a massive air campaign, lots of millions of dollars being spent, and yet they didn't do as well as one would expect with such resources being expended. So the ground campaign, I always say, has much more value because people like to meet their candidates, see who is going to represent them and know that they have direction there, that they have met this person, they know this person, and then they should be able to give this person a call, elected MP.
So it's going to be a different campaign apart from being relatively short?
Yes, I think it will be different because we wouldn't have the motorcades, we wouldn't have the mass rallies and the mass meetings, which I find very attractive. The mass meetings in the various zones or various areas in Trinidad, various constituencies, it tends to attract a lot of people. And people always glued to the radio and the television to see politicians speak, what they're going to do, what they're not going to do, what they can do, what they will do. There is something very attractive about that mobilization, and makes you feel that election is in the air because everybody around is talking politics. So we're not going to see those rallies. And maybe on the Saturday before election, they usually have the grand rally. I don't know if by that time the size of the crowd, etc.
Who has the ascendancy now, Dr. Rampersad?
Can you repeat?
Who has the ascendancy? There was a view that PNM did fairly well with COVID-19, but now that they have started decline a little bit, people not getting the benefits that were promised and so on. How's overall?
Well, to start with, as a political scientist for many years, while I know this pandemic is novel and new and really something we have never experienced before, I don't think that COVID-19 would have ever been a factor in the elections in terms of how well a government performed during the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't think it is a voting issue. I don't think it's something that's going to be I can tell you what's in the minds of the voters traditionally and what I think will continue to be. And that is, there is always the ethnic factor because you always have the base voting. But like I said, the elections will be won in the marginals again. So while there will be the ethnic factor, how many of the middle of the ground voters or floating voters or mixed voters gravitate towards either party? The factor which can be overriding is the economic factor. Because we have had a lot of young people, thousands of people are coming out of university, people I teach at the university, and they can't find jobs. They have master's degrees, 10. These people are now qualified with graduate degrees and they cannot find jobs. Then we have had the business sector crying for a long time. The malls were not doing well, the shopping was bad. And this was all pre-COVID. It was exacerbated in the COVID period. And we were told they got $60 billion to address the COVID financial problem. And like you said, the people are complaining that it's not trickling down fast enough. And so there is that complaint. So I think the economy, we should not underestimate it and think that COVID-19 handling. It's easier for us to close our borders. And we have small population. So you don't have many countries that are islands with small populations that had a high 19, and most of the Caribbean islands exemplary in terms of Trinidad. Sure, it was good that we kept numbers low. But like I said, we didn't have the opportunity to, once the borders were closed. You see, once the borders were closed, which every country was doing, then I think it was easy to contain it.
So you don't see, is it that you don't see the COVID factor as a major factor in this election?
Not at all, Paul. Yeah, not at all. I don't see it. I don't think people vote on those issues when they go into a ballot box. I don't think they look at that COVID factor.
They vote on bread and butter issues.
They will vote on bread. They will also vote on the. They will also vote on the basis of ethnicity. But there are other issues people are concerned about. You know, the threat of a property tax, for example, or leadership. People might vote on the leader. People will vote on their candidate. But I think these two factors, the ethnic factor and the economy, are the overriding forces.
Did you expect both parties to make such widespread changes to the candidates?
I did. I know the UNC for a fact was looking at new and fresh faces for quite some years now, you know. And since 2015, Prasad been on a headhunt to get new people to come to her party. And there's also this generation that was more or less outgoing in the UNC. And you always have a turnover when a generation seeks to exist. And we have some of those in the PNM too. Allowed back in, like Robert Leigh Hunt, for example, was some fallout in La Brea, but that is a PNM seat. You know, La Brea is a PNM seat and they will win it, whoever they put.
I want to ask this here. The PNM, clearly Dr. Rowley went out to make peace with the remaining so-called Manningites in bringing Brian Manning and bringing Penny Beckles and so on. there are those who are indicating that the UNC hasn't reached out to those on the fringes of different styles, to different cultures. Is that so?
Well, I don't quite agree. The Mennonite, yes, that is the broad-based men, the defensive. But there aren't very, big falling out from UNC. I don't think so, because I think the factions that are out there, let's say the COP, for example, let's say the COP or the other small parties, I don't think the COP has had much of a presence in the last. I haven't heard what the COP is doing for this election. I don't know if they're going to have candidates and where they're going to field them. So it hasn't had much of a presence. So since 2010, a lot of COP supporters have returned to the UNC. There were still some that remained, but the party has not been a force to be reckoned with. There's going to be a political fallout as such there.
Has the UNC extended significantly beyond its base and onto the east-west corridor?
The presence has been on, so even during the lockdown, there has been, the members' constituency up in the week. Some of the candidates who already knew, they were already working on the ground. Some of the shadow candidates were already working on the ground. So I understand, and that's why when the results of the local hit, you realize that a lot of work was taking place in the ground that people were unaware of.
Do you have it clear in your mind, Dr. Prasad, how the results would go?
Way too early, Ken, now, my yet. So, the campaign hasn't really built up in the air, even in the air. We see Prasad Bisesta starting the virtual campaign on Jagrati TV some Thursday night. Yes, campaign.
Indeed. Dr. Prasad, this has been a wonderful discussion. I've enjoyed your insights. I hope you'll be available to us. I know you had a little personal injury. I hope you're coming on well now.
Oh, yes. My arm is healing.
Good. And all set to return to the campus?
Well, we are having a phased reopening, and so that last week it did start, and it's going to continue this week. The students have written their exams, more or less, so we're grading, correcting scripts, and looking to enter marks and all that.
Right. As happens every election time. Thank you for your time and your insights today. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Yes, she's a political scientist, and the country knows her. She has been at the university for quite a long time, and we're very happy to have her insight. And I look forward to sharing more conversations with her as we head to the general election. 11:30, we're going to talk about the economy also and some other matters. We have been having some challenges dates, but we understand some may be available to us. So we're always anxious and keen and interested in speaking with them, but we also want to hear from you. Good morning to you.
Mr. Kenali, a blessed day to you.
Yes, to you too. Good morning.
You see, if people following this last head, the fella who named Sobas, the guy from Point 14, the lady from Maruga Table, and if the young people coming out, Mr. Rowley falling back, and he can't come forward again. Because when Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesta putting out people, she worked with them for years, and she understands why she is doing it. And when she takes this young group of people, you either do the work, or she going to quit. What is very proud of Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesta. You are there to spend the taxpayers' money, and she's the first person that comes out and fight corruption. And you know, Mr. Fuad can't go on in Tobago.
I need a little bit from your present conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, people were commenting about gentlemen piling along the river bank in DB, by Big Apple.
Yes,
Right.
yes, indeed, yes.
Right. And they were making a lot. I live in the area. And after seeing what was done, I would personally like to commend that gentleman piling, which prevents erosion. And he has done a job in his private capacity that the government should have done by that bridge. He has done sheet piling and some other piling that would prevent the river from eroding the land and the bridge. I can say what he has done is something the government has done that will benefit all the residents in the community in that area.
Right, okay.
Right.
Okay, I want to take a pass, and check it myself, but thanks for telling us that. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Ali.
Morning, sir.
And morning.
Morning.
The first thing I want to do this morning, Mr. Ali, is to compliment you for bringing Dr. Prasad on your program.
Okay.
I am concerned Dr. Prasad is one of the best.
All right.
And I realized this morning why a lot of them preaching for bringing Dr. Prasad on the program.
Which is why?
They probably don't have the knowledge to interview that lady, like yourself.
Okay, all right.
That's why they bring some. Because after listening to you, and the way you handle that, you master me well, man.
Okay.
And Dr. Prasad, if you listen, so good to hear your voice on radio once again.
Thank you. In fact, there's a further reason why we must speak to her more often. Once she's available, we would speak to her during this election season.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Hi, morning, White Meat.
Yes, my friend.
How are you?
I'm hearing you're not happy with the candidates. I wanted to say that on public radio.
Yes, no. UNC won the election already.
Mm-hmm.
They have 24 seats and going.
Oh, well then.
But the thing is that, I mean to say, there are no firepower on them 5 candidates, man.
Okay.
I'm very, very concerned about, I know you all as individual might want to voice your opinion, I send it out to some
I
people
voice
and
my
they
opinion all the time.
Yeah, but
you on public radio, I want your thoughts.
I am totally disappointed.
In candidates?
Yeah, the last 5 candidates.
And you're saying they don't have firepower, meaning what? They don't have experience?
No, they don't have the venom. Them people can't produce venom, finesse, and with educated people to go with it. You don't want to one-sided thing, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean to say, the 5 candidates, look at the background, they have no kind of substance whatsoever there.
Okay.
I in politics long time. I'm a foundation member of Club 88. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I've been around, and at the end of the day, to move forward, that is nothing but again,
But you're still seeing a victory for the UNC. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, UNC won the election already.
Mm-hmm.
They won the election, but as I say, we starting this country,
mm-hmm.
and you need 10 Vasan Bharat.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Right.
You need 10 Vasan Bharat, 10 Jack Warner.
Mm-hmm.
To streamline this place with the Honorable Kamala as the leader. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So let me see how it goes. But again, I am totally disappointed with it.
Okay. Well, thanks for your call. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And this is that listener repeatedly suggested the UNC would win the election. Good morning to you.
Mr. Ali, I am not no political scientist, but I see Ms. Indira Prasad echoed most of my sentiments.
Well,
one thing she said that I didn't say,
mm-hmm.
and I agree with,
Uh-huh.
is that the PNM cannot hold on to no COVID-19 and see this as no success to win any election.
Right.
COVID-19 by the World Health Organization and every country in the world, Mr. Ali,
Mm-hmm.
social distancing, wearing face masks, locking down the borders, no gathering in big numbers and all this sort of thing. All of those are recommendations by the World Health Authorities, World Health Organization, and the PNM cannot claim for doing anything. This has been as they say, it's a pandemic, which is a worldwide thing. And the recommendations on the World Health Authority have been for all the countries to do that. How could we travel out if everybody locked the borders? How could people come in if everybody closed down the borders? So they can't success at all. And they have done absolutely nothing outside of COVID-19 if they want to claim that, to be given the opportunity to Ali after spending $300 and something billion.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's take this call. Good morning to you.
Yeah, morning, Mr. Ken and Mr. Andy.
Morning.
I missed the earlier part of the program.
Mm-hmm.
Just come up from Mandela,
Okay.
I'm saying there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mr. Ken, listening, I won't pinpoint nobody to criticize anybody, but I'll say this statement. A wise man knows how little he knows. Only a fool, and I could elaborate on that word fool, but I'll leave it there for a while,
mm-hmm.
thinks he knows everything, right? And after that, I will say 100% satisfied and giving the youth a chance, and I'm on the side of my political leader, the blessed lady named Miss Kamala Prasad, the sister. And I totally says 100%. And Miss K, you go, lady. I am 100% behind you. And I'm sure we are behind you. And to go, I always like to end with a little humor. If I had your access to you, I would have sent you the post on Facebook. But how us double S's be? There's a line outside the Prime Minister's residence that children waiting to go into the Prime Minister's residence to wish him Happy Father's Day.
Oh, no. All right. Okay. Thank you. Good morning to you.
Morning.
I'm going through my phone here. You come across the article today in the Sunday Guardian, part 1, my own advantage.
Well, I have the Guardian. I'd look at it.
Check it, any business guy, any minute.
Oh, we lost you.
Oh,
we are new. Go ahead.
I say, well, I come across it because he's speaking of MG.
Okay, well, I will make an effort to...
Yeah, you mention a name in it now. So
mention my name too? What?
Yeah, your name in it, yeah.
Okay, well, certainly I will take a... no, I have the paper here. I will take a read of it.
But the thing in this article is that...
Runaway cost of state-owned broadcasting in TT. I hope it's a fair analysis. oh, yeah. He did communicate with me and ask for some information. But I don't want to comment on it until and unless I read it. But he did ask me for some information and so on. But anyway. Yeah, well, luckily somebody...
The 5 years of CNMG under the PP had cost taxpayers 71 million compared to 82 million under this PNM. Under the previous administration, the man saying...
no, and you see, you can't even... at first I should read it before I respond, but you can't... Yeah, but you can't just look at the cost. In fact, how we serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago better and so on and so forth. And I'd also talk about what I met when I got in there. But since people have interest, I didn't think they had much interest. But I'll read it first and then... Okay, thank you. I'll give it a read.
And last but not least, I see a joint select committee talking about MIC. And the conclusion from the joint select committee is that the halving of state funding of the MIC was a drastic fall in the number of trainees enrolled from 5,705 to 1,875 over a 6-year period. You understand that?
No, say it again, please.
The halving of state funding of the MIT was blamed for a drastic fall in the number of trainees enrolled from 505 students to 1,875 students over a 6-year period. So obviously, this administration cut the funding, which is for some form of tertiary education and skill and trades and skills, and that is why it has less enrollment in the place. So it has less skilled people coming out, less skilled people enrolling in MIT. You understand what I'm telling you? I think Mr. David Lee should get asking some opinion, and I know at one time he was heavily involved in MIT. And
Yeah. Okay. So, thank you very much. It's 11:43, 17 minutes to the hour of Monday morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ken. Happy Father's Day
Yes,
to you.
good morning. Thank you.
When did I hear they say that you can use the Cuba nut? Good morning, Ms. Duki.
Good morning.
Ken, I want to disabuse long circular. The PNM would not be fighting the election based on any COVID management, We're dealing with the economy and who can best manage the economy. You think Dr. Rowley would be so crazy, so out of his mind to take up $1.4 billion, give to an Attorney General office and close your eyes? No, sirree. We better manage the economy and we would prove that to you. This one talking about MIC and funding that he had because we lost $50 billion in 2015. And I will tell you this election we fought on the economy and those who can best manage it. Have a nice morning, Ken.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Ann.
Good morning.
Ken, this 5 years that we will be facing would be one of the most challenging and difficult times in the history of this governance of this country. It might be worse than the NAR period, where Robinson had to take away cola and all these kind of things. And going forward, to whosoever, it's not just about winning. We do, and I think the direction the Kamala Prasad Bisasa is taking is the perfect one to govern in this country. You don't want to be pushing 5 different heads when you see in governance. You don't want 8, 9 different leaders. You don't want to hear voices from 20 people. All whatever you need to be done have to be done decisively with authority and with leadership quality. And in this group of people, it's not that she's selecting people that is weak or immature or anything. She have a vision to govern this country, and that vision would be one and the only one that could take this country through this period that we will be facing. We have seen where the PNM had squandered the economy for the past 5 years. They haven't done nothing. What they have really done, it come like if you have a home and you have 5 children in the home, for you to manage the economy, you come and you said, hey, here what? I'll be spending less, so I'll take away your laptops, I'll take away the internet service, I'll cut your cable. When we used to go lunch or have a dinner once a week, or so, I'm stopping all that. So here what? I save real money for the home. But what we really do, you really starve your family. You take away every good thing that they were living off. And that's exactly what Rowley did. He shut down companies. People lose their jobs. He cut everything that he could possibly cut. He cut and suffer the people in the country. And now we are facing this COVID situation here, and we are facing a decline in unemployment that the country have never seen before. After we go through this COVID situation and thing, and people start to demand jobs and looking for a future. Remember, they haven't made one investment in any aspect of this country. That if anybody could name one avenue where they made an investment so that we could see the country benefiting in the next 2 years or 3 years. Remember, agriculture and tourism, that is actually dead enough. And if you had to go to diversify in agriculture, that will be another benefits or gain. If there would ever be any benefits or gain, we might probably plant more food and reduce the import bill. But bringing any kind of revenue into the country, I can't see it happening anytime soon or ever at all again, because we have already destroyed that already. So you see, the governance and the leadership in governing this country for the next 5 is very, very critical. And you cannot have people run into the media and this one have your own agenda and that one splitting and this one I get what they want and thing. And she have done the right thing, people, that everybody must push one ideology, one focus, and we'll get through this 5 years that will come in with good leadership. And she is the only one, not Rowley. If we go back to PNM for this 5 years that we are be facing here, if people used to eat grass, they wouldn't even have grass to eat again. Happy Father's Day to everybody again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much. Well, that's a strong, that is a ringing endorsement of Mrs. Prasad Bisasa and a strong announcement of Dr. Rowley. Good morning to you.
To you and your listeners.
Good morning. Thank you.
And Jennifer Buttigieg, did she give a speech for Labor Day?
It was posted on print media. Yes, she gave she had a press release.
Yeah, she said something or the other. I know you have been after her for several years.
A while now,
yes. And rightly so. But she's been saying...
Also, I want to say, yeah. The Prime Minister speak last night, right? We talk about the agricultural sector. Now, if a situation in arrive at this, because I always make a point over your program, many other a backbone to any country, right? And I know I never seem to understand. Maybe you could be able to give me some light on this. I mean, since before you born, important potato in this country. I mean, only technology helps. We can't plant potato in this country and try to save the foreign exchange. I mean, we have to start doing something, right? We have an agriculture minister, the worst I have ever seen in my whole life, right? The worst I have ever seen in my whole life. And I hope whoever comes in power, this agriculture sector will change, because there will be many more disasters. So this is my point this morning. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you very much. Now, we continue to take your calls. We've had an interview planned with Dr. Raja Hussain, which we put off till tomorrow afternoon. So to facilitate more for callers, We go until 1 p.m., of course. We want to hear more from you, but just to advise you, tomorrow we are seeking to talk to Dr. Roger Hussain on economic matters. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Morning, Ken.
Morning.
And morning. Now, when the person call and talk about Venezuela and its union, the oil free trade union, and Venezuela is part of the UN and United Nations, right? Well, why America adopted nation and have them nowhere around America? Because if they're the United Nations and you have a sanction on them, which means still have a voice in the United Nations, you have to move them out from here, right, number one. You see, this fellow was called just now with a long speech about Kamala Prasad, sister. I wonder if Kamala is really here and give them the open as a candidate and go up there and feel the heat just as everybody. Them supposed, the talk I hear of a lot of them supposed to be screening. Kamala supposed to be having them as advisor and all that kind of thing. Don't come on the radio and talk. Put up yourself. This fella, Rambali coming from Shagwan as well. Guys, I know him my whole life. I don't know where he come from. I still have to do some profiling on them and things. But I'm telling you, all PNM have to go back. 2010 to 2015, and we're going to the UNC, and that the quality of the UNC 18 seats or the Baggy system. If she has no expedition treaty from Panama to come back to Trinidad, she might do well later.
Again,
He's very upset.
Yeah, and all points of view, and we welcome them all. 8 minutes to the midday hour. Good morning to you. Good morning.
Happy Father's Day.
Yes, thank you, and to you too, brother.
Right, I want to put you in a position this morning. Imagine telling her father, Happy Father's Day, how nice it will sound in the father's ear. You hear that? Imagine a child 2-year-old that cannot talk, and a father that cannot say Happy Father's Day. You happy with that? That is the kind of thing Black Lives Matter. And we take up other people.
Just hold a second. He is, of course, talking. Her name is Anaya, who was gunned down along with her father at Tunapuna 2 evenings ago. Good morning to you.
Morning again, Mr. Kenneth. I'm going to tell you Happy Father's Day.
Oh, so that's why you call? Okay, thank you very much. And to you and yours. Thank you very much, sir. All right, here's what he says. All right, let's hear the caller first. Good morning to you.
Mr. Kenneth, that's why before I make my point.
Sorry, say again, please.
I say I was going to make my point.
I'm sorry, and make your point.
Well, it seems that Eric has gotten to the ground by the bars, and he seems to be in his way at this moment in time with his contribution. Like he has not seen the last 4.5 years what is going on in the economy, in this economy. And people have lost their jobs, and we have a labor minister that's been non-existent. She seems to be invisible at most times. Every aspect or everything that she's come up with has been failure. Really, for what she called it, has been a monumental failure. And everything else that she put her hands on. And it's a good riddance to her when she goes. I hope she takes it back, because that seems to be the only plan that she has. But I can tell you, there is no government that takes office in this country will have it hard. Transfer them complain about that, and you will tell you definitely they will have to be done. So that means instructions or reductions in the grants, with disability grants, or pensions, all these things. They will have to be cut. No more government tax again.
Absolutely. But you see, this is why, let me intervene briefly. This is why I'm asking, and I'm talking about both parties are putting up the requisite talent to deal with the issues we're facing. This is the worst economic crisis in at least 40 years. We lost that. This is the worst economic crisis in at least 40 years that the country is facing. We're heading to the midday interest, but Maxi Coffey said at the start of his term that CNMG was a big waste of money. And Bernard Pantin, who is no friend of mine, says, let's caller, just hold a second. Yes, thank you. You too.
I was not too disappointed, actually concerned of the body language of the Prime Minister when he said the borders are closed. I wish he would have said so when Mrs. Rodriguez actually planned to come to Trinidad and Tobago that time. But I think he has to understand that there are lots of people and are talking about bona fide. They have passports, they are bona fide, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and I think we should make every effort as early as possible to get those borders open. So welcome our citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that's a point that is also relevant to the election. Whether we're going to have an election, as they have been, I mean, Little St. Kitts Nevis had the election, with them had theirs with the borders closed and so on. Whether we're going to have an election with our borders.
Mr. Kenali,
Yes,
you asked my question why I do that. When Mr. Fuad Khan was the Minister of Health, he was doing operation, and Mr. Kamla Prasad, he said, we either take this work or go back and do another work. And he resigned. When the people of Trinidad and Tobago suffering, I suffering too. And from the the laptop, when the poor people children, Mrs. Kamla Prasad sent taxpayers, and we going to vote for him. Have a blessed one.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to you. Well, we lost you. Let's take the top of the hour break. We'll do some of our interviews. We'll come back and tell you some more as we take your calls and give you some other news updates. We'll be right back.
Why they run for police? Can criminal attack me outside the mirror? We don't have
Time has come. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 975 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters and water pumps, plus all parts for Gould, Pentax and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands such as Cooper, Varma, BTCino, Leviton and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. Limited of Southern Main Road, Canoopia.
Grand Diamond Hotel invites you to dine in our newest and exquisite grand opening with our authentic Thai and Indian cuisine, and our outdoor terrace would be available from the 22nd of June. We can offer you our indoor and outdoor restaurant dining. All meats halal. For reservations, call 331-5013-320-1093. Our email address, chaitai19@gmail.com. Opening hours, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Takeaway and delivery services are available 11 a.m. to 2:20 p.m. Secured parking and excellent services.
For quality ID supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as quality cash and carry supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations: Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, super quality supermarket, and quality cash and carry.
2 minutes after the midday hour, we thank you for staying with us. Just to tell on where is the thing we have. We are on several social media platforms that we will tell you about. Yes, we're also on YouTube. We also have a new channel on YouTube, RCL U975. You can also log us on 975 Radio of the story of David and Goliath. She is going to fight the Prime Minister, the incumbent at the Diego Martin West seat. She is the UNC's candidate. Her name is Marcia Walker. Good morning. Good afternoon, Ms. Walker.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
And thank you. That's a warm, great voice on Sunday afternoon. How are you?
I am great.
You know the story of David and Goliath. People say
I do very well, so I also know the outcome.
That's a wonderful response. That's a great response. So how is the campaign going?
It's going great, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was a little bit scared going into it, and we began walking from the time the announcement came, the official announcement came on my candidacy. The support has been overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
that's
you have
comforting.
You have a big deficit to make up. How are you going to do that?
You know, funny enough, it's not as huge as people think. The Diego Martin constituency, when you look at the figures, Dr. Rowley won with 40% in 2015.
Uh-huh.
What you see happening, and in fact in 2010, he won by actually only 1,000 votes. Rob this year came literally with, what you find is that this constituency has a lot of non-voters. For them, it doesn't matter how it swings. You know, politics doesn't matter.
No.
And that's where the challenge is.
Now, in 20, the UNC did not have a candidate in Diego
We
Martin.
did not have a candidate,
Right,
no.
and so here he faced Fuad Abu Bakr, Philip Edward Alexander, Tajia Apollo Carrington, Zafir David, Avonel Arlette Hector. You've got to inspire these people to get to the polling booth.
Absolutely have to get them out and voting.
Are you succeeding, you think, on the ground? You're walking and so on, I
I
imagine?
am walking, and so far what you're hearing is, you know, I wasn't going to vote, but you've inspired me.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like we're getting through. You know, and I mean, for me, a big part of this is the Venezuela issue. You know, you speak to Venezuelans who live in Trinidad now, and they didn't think their country would be where their country is now. So, you know, a lot of us kind of think we stay away from politics, and not because of all the drama and the bacchanal and the peacock and we don't GDP. They want to know the information. What can you do? And not what can you do for me in terms of a handout, but what can you do for my business, for inflation, for unemployment? Those are the votes that I'm speaking to, right? And they're not interested in peacock. They're interested in going through the history of Venezuela. You know, the last time I spoke, I said it, U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders, he said it just 10 years ago. He said, Venezuelans are living better than Americans themselves. Could you imagine that that statement was said about Venezuela 10 years ago? That's crazy, because now we look at where they are now, where citizens are digging in the garbage.
What about Dr. Rowley's performance over the last 5 years? Infrastructure projects, for example?
Okay, I have walked and walked and walked, right? I started walking even with the local government election candidates. I grew up in the area. And do you know that I can come up with one thing so far that when I ask residents? And there's a fence that causes a big security hazard in Glencoe. Now, I mean, my husband is in construction, so it's not hard to find out very easily how to solve that problem, right? It literally needs a wall or a fence or something just to stop persons from coming through the river. That costing $10,000. That has been a bother to the people in Glencoe for generations.
Tell us some of the other issues.
Water is a big issue, right? Diego Martin West is a mountainous area, so you have a lot of people living on the hill and stuff. The water doesn't reach there. It just doesn't. My cousin, well, my second cousin, you know how family works. Why is she home today? We have no water in school. Could you imagine? She's doing SEA. The amount of days lost because there's no water in school. So they have to be sent home. That is crazy. We must at least put pumps in there, tanks in there, get water to deliver, truck one water can't flush. It becomes a health hazard. That is crazy.
What are the other issues?
Well, garbage collection. You can smell and see the garbage long before you even, well, you could smell it before you could see it. Again, another health hazard. I mean, we have the garbage. So you have one little bin servicing how many streets? And of course it gets overflowed, and the time it takes before the garbage could get collected. You just have the dogs, you have the cats, the rats, just going. Two major issues. And then of course we have the crime. Nowhere seems to be escaping the crime these days. But there are gang problems. I mean, last year we saw the innocent little child cause of the gang. Of course, I believe that it's family. I believe that there's that lack. Today's Father's Day. There is a lack. There is a big lack of male mentorship for these guys. If we don't have positive mentorship, how are they're going to...
A number of constituents. What are the issues they face? I know you referred quite briefly to it a while ago. I just want to come back to those issues and to ask how do they respond to Dr. Rowley's stewardship of the constituency?
Now, I'm not sure that we even have a middle income anymore. But let's pretend that we do. You have the smaller businesses. The ease of doing business works. The taxation does not work for the smaller man, right? A lot of middle income homes can't qualify for the grant, but we can't afford the things without the grant. So that puts us in a position. A lot of people are reaching out. They cannot eat. They can't pay their rent. They can't pay their car loan, etc. And they can't qualify for the grants. So you have a disconnect, right? Of course, we know the ease of doing business in Trinidad is just not there. We have a junior stock market, and that junior stock market is non-existent. You look at Jamaica's thriving. We have to do something for the small businessman, and not just the small businessman, but micro, even the tradesmen. Our moms and a community database where our plumbers, our electricians. So I have something called Shop DMW, Diego Martin West, right? So it's playing on the shop local. Why are we hiring plumbers outside of there? Now, of course, we're going to make sure and mentor them. We're going to make sure their profile sets up, their work ethics where they're supposed to be. Do they need help, with the way that the businesses look, the way that they present themselves, the unique kinds of things that we take for granted, where mentorship comes in play. Sometimes, how do you go for an interview? How do you dress? What earrings do you wear? How do you put your hair? All of these little things. I always believe the devil is in the details, where we need to start to really work with our young people to help them grow.
Now, Ms. Walker, people's disenchantment with Dr. Rowley may be one thing. Are you getting them over to your side to go and vote for you?
Are you
confident in those?
I definitely think so. Yes, more and more on the ground, not just in the non-voting areas, but in the areas that traditionally have voted for PNM. I mean, one guy said to me, listen, I don't want no mama guy, And I actually thought that would have been my biggest problem, because I'm not one to say what you want me to say just to get a vote. So I'm not going to promise you a contract or that I will give you a hand up. We're not into handouts. I'm not giving you fish, I'll teach you to fish. And I thought that kind of message, that message of empowering you, not just employing you and giving you a 10 days here and there, I actually thought that message would not have been popular. Believe it or not, you know what? I respect that, because I don't want any mamagism anymore. They've been mama guide for too long. They could see through the promises now. I mean, you, 29 uninterrupted years, your last term, you actually held the most powerful position in the country. You had every resource at your hand. And what have you done for the people of Diego Martin West? So they now officially have given up. We literally feel betrayed that the Prime Minister, those conversations with the Prime Minister that Dr. Rowley had? One would think that we would have been among the first to have one, right? I mean, we are your children. We are yours first and foremost, because without our vote, you cannot be in office. Before you could be Prime Minister, you have to be MP of Diego Martin West. We put you there. We never had a conversation with the Prime Minister. As simple as that. And people are absolutely fed up of all the failed promises now. And they use the word mamagism. They don't want it anymore. They'd rather somebody that comes bold and say, listen, I cannot give you that. I'm very sorry. But I'll give you, make it work.
Now, if you win, you will be a giant killer, as we said at the start of the conversation. You will be a giant killer.
All glory to God.
Only one sitting prime minister losing in,
Yes.
in the person of George Chambers.
Yes, yes.
So
Yes.
you're going to make history?
Well, I mean, history has been made. I'll be the only girl. I'll be the female. But he's done it before. So, you know, it's not like it's history in that regard. But I will be the first female.
Right. And he meaning Dr. Rowley, has been a representative there for 29 years?
29 years, yes.
Yes.
Uninterrupted years. So he can't say change of administration. He's been there through oil booms, been there through everything. Really have no excuse. You look at the kind of G.D. Martin, I mean, you look at the income earners, there is no reason for Diego Martin to have no water and to have poverty and that kind of thing. Really is no reason. I mean, we have a sea. We have a whole sea, you know, and it just hasn't been tapped into.
Tell us about your campaign itself. You put in long days. What are your campaign days like?
Right now, I wouldn't consider it long days per se. We are still working out of home, so that makes it feel a little less like it's a long day. We're doing a lot of preparation work, so understanding where the votes ought to come from, using some of the local government election data, putting together our policies, really trying to create networks of business people, bridging the gap. That's a big thing for the campaign. Gap, of course, in Diego Martin West, you have high income earners and low income earners. So we need to bridge that gap so that we can actually create more of a real middle income. So I wouldn't say long hours like 5 a.m. that I give my family the time that they deserve, because of course I'm a parenting advocate. So I can't be a parenting advocate and not my family first.
Indeed. Yes. Well, Ms. Walker, we thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
We wish you the very best. You will be making history, so we'll keep a lot of eyes focused on you. Best wishes to you.
Thank you very much, and happy Father's Day, all listeners.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Is the UNC's candidate for Diego Martin West, and we wish her the best. Let's get back to the calls. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Good afternoon.
Happy Father's Day.
Oh, yes, thank you. You too.
The most compelling conversation I heard this morning was your guest, Mr. Prasad. Okay? As a political, I think 2 points I'm taking away from it, which I also is my point too. The marginal seats going to be the main thing. Right? The COVID was an issue. Well, of course, if you take state funds and they give Tom, Dick and Harry in the area, I think it could be a problem. But really and truly, imagine COVID was a universal thing. You had the proper protocols that WHO had set out. If you look at Jamaica is 3 times our population. I think 9 people died.
Yes.
Australia is 1/3. Somebody for St. Joseph? Yes. Do we have any for St. Augustine? No. But St. Augustine is not a marginal seat. Do we have somebody for Tunapuna? Yes. Do we have somebody for so Ken, basically what I'm saying, I'm not saying the constitution don't matter. Penal, Princess Story, they matter. But what I'm saying, at the end of the day, they will not determine who wins the election. So in that regard, I'm agreeing with Mr. Prasad 100%. Just playing a cat and mouse.
No, but they announced a candidate there yesterday.
Oh, but I apologize because I didn't listen to you.
The person's name is Nabila Green. In fact, we must try to contact her and probably chat with her a bit. Nabila Green.
Yes.
If she will talk to us. Yes, go ahead.
I'm Barry from Mayaro. I think that will be an issue. Now we understand Anita Haynes, that is what I'm hearing through the grapevine, is going for Tabaki to replace Suge, right? Whether they announce Anita Haynes or not, I don't think Tabaki is going to hold the so I'm glad you give me a chance to call on this Father's Day Sunday. But I want to say I endorse Mr. Prasad 100%, and there are people I don't endorse at all who are apparently political commentators. I think they are very biased. So thank you again for the opportunity.
And thank you. A lot of endorsement of Dr. Prasad, so we have to make sure we talk to her much more often. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Mr. Ken.
Yes, sir.
The two coast and the Grande State, the candidate there, although she mightn't be known, well, how to say it, boy, as known as popular as let me say Nizam Bashir, right? But in the area Sandy Grande, right? She is a household name and she is very, very popular, and she is going to win that seat. Miss Bisesa, in her wisdom, know what she is doing. You follow me, Mr. Ken? Right. And before I go, I sent you, I download your Facebook thing. I sent you something, some humorous pictures on Facebook, so you could enjoy them for Father's Day.
Well, indeed. Thank you very much. I could do with that. Thank you so much. At 12:22, continue to call us, and I'm trying to pull up, which I will do in other while, the profile of Miss Green, so I could share that with you. Good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, Mr. Kenali. Good afternoon, Ms. Anduki. Good afternoon, Trinidad again. You know, Mr. Kenali, you know, I enjoy that lady that got that contest, Dr. Rowley there. I enjoy what you put it, but you know, I think when you go to a constituent, you tell a man, you know, you tell him, say, remember, you are getting money to fix that. You can make representation, yes, and once you can satisfy the constituent that you have made sufficient representation, that is okay. But I think, Mr. Kenali, when you look at the Dr. Kidro, with all due respect, and serving that constituency for all those years, and you in the post of where you're the leader of the country, there's you then from getting what you want for your constituency, because you are the prime minister. Fellas really need to revisit their service to the nation and people in it. Because I mean, I think in my way, right? If I have my constituency, I have anything in it, I'm the prime minister, you know, Mr. Kenali. If my constituency, I supposed to win my clothes. So if I come and tell somebody challenge, if I really get even 500 votes for Zach Ali, something, well, 500 is a big, small ratio, but if I 1,000 votes, I think there's left to be like what I hear complaining about things there, that should never be in my personal constitution. Remember, according to how the constitution in Trinidad, the prime minister loses, let's suppose everybody else with a government form and he loses seat, the leader. You know the problem there? Yes. So I hope, you know, if she continues that kind of spread, that kind of spread you want to see from now on in the constituent. You know, you come and talk to the constituent genuinely, and then genuinely people not promising them once that thing that you know you can't give. Right. It doesn't make any sense because they will eventually see you. Yeah, Mr. Kenali.
Thank you, sir. We missed a few calls. Continue to call us 636-7547-227-5739. Good afternoon.
Mr. Ali.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, you are on.
Yeah, Belmont again. I don't discouraging the people who keep in the faith, because I myself would like to see Mrs. Bisesa return back to government, only because of her compassion, how much people are bright and people are this and people are that. Yes, I agree, all of these things are good things. But when it comes into election, I am saying this and I'll say it again, is the UNR people have to decide that they're going to put you in the government or they are going to put the PNM. And along those lines, keep everything in order, keep the faith right, look for all your candidates that is suitable to anyone, and the ONR will decide who will go back into power.
739. Nabila Green, according to the profile sent by the UNC, is a young, ambitious, and successful woman who has always been active in the constituency of Tokos and Grandi since the days of Dr. Rupert Griffith. At just 29 years of age, so she's very young, she has spent most of her adult life working for the people of Toco, Sangre Grande. Nabila holds the University of the Southern Caribbean and a certificate in restorative practices from the International Institute of Restorative. Is at present the youth officer of the Grand River Village Council, as well as the president of the Toco Youths United Group, and so on, and goes on to quote her saying a few things. So that's her, Nabila Green. We would try to get an interview with her. It hasn't always been easy getting the UNC candidates, is why we were particularly happy to get Marcia Walker. The other candidates announced by the party yesterday, that is the UNC, is Ms. Flora Singh for the constituency of Arima, Senator Saddam Hussein for the constituency of Barataria Sawa, Mr. Dinesh Rambali for the constituency of Chaguanas West, Mr. Maurice Hoyt for the Ms. Nabila Green for the constituency of Toco, Sangre Grande. Right, we'll share some more, but our lines are open at 12:27, 636-7547, 2275739. And we also, you can access us on a YouTube channel, RCLU975, and log us, or you can log on to 975radio.com, and of course on your radio dial we are 97.5 FM. On this Sunday we are aiming to talk to as many of the candidates as we can as we move forward to what should be the election in early September. Some people forecast even before that, but whatever is the date, we expect an election of speculation about some of the other names. Now, Dinesh Rambali has issued a statement today, a pretty long statement and so on, and talk about service and so on. He says the PNM has been conjuring up cheap parlor tricks, unable to provide any significant benefit to our nation. It seems as it has an inherent disinclination to tell the direct truth and is quite contented to enrich itself by trading on the sentimental emotions of the poor and the downtrodden. As the campaign unfolds in Chaguanas West, I look for these and other issues with Ms. Raquel Bissoon, who is the PNM's candidate. Raquel Bissoon is the PNM's candidate. So a statement there from Dinesh Rambali on this announced as the candidate. So all eyes, all focus on the election at 12:29. Let's return to the lines. Good morning. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ken and Mr. Ann.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Ken, I know Mr. Rambali, he's been very vocal on radio clarity.
Okay.
But the way he brings to the table. Seeing Mr. Roberts, I don't know where he fits into the UNC. Is it that Miss Kamala waiting for Unity Senate? I've seen all these seats given up, and I'm not seeing Mr. Roberts being mentioned in any of these seats. So I'm waiting to see.
And is that a good or a bad thing?
I think Mr. Roberts had a good following. Able to explain more in the party and with regard to himself and his life. It doesn't matter. If you watch it, the show, you will see that he's being very vocal. And he's always analyzing stuff. So I think he does. I mean, we don't have anything regarding him to say that he's facing court or anything like that. He's just trumped up charges. And I think he
endorsement there for Anil Roberts for the PNM as a possible candidate. Now, let's take this call because anyway, I'll leave that point after. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, me again. You always like to give statistics, which is one of your forte.
Sorry, say again?
I said you always
yes.
Which is one of your forte. It's a good thing. You have to understand something too. The lady said in 2010, Rocky Garcia, 40. Previous to that, Mr. Pandey had put 3 ladies in 2001. That is when Mr. Pandey won the elections outright. So 1916 won. He spoke about his 3 Zena warriors. He has chosen 3 ladies to fight the 3 Digomatin seats. Miss Jones Kernahan and 2 other ladies. You won't believe the 3 seats the PNM won it, but they came within 600 votes by the opposition party. Now the guy you talk about, Anna Robert. Now you have to understand people could be seen too, Mr. Tony. I thought he was going to get the nod in too, I had mentioned it before. No, he didn't get the nod for the seat. But it doesn't mean that he cannot work behind the scenes. And Robert, I know for the last 2 government elections, was working the East-West corridor. He had a lot of meetings all in St. John's Road, which is partly to the constituency. So even if Anil don't get a seat, you have value. Seat to 4,000 people, you can only choose 41 people. So even though I would have probably liked to see Joseph Tony, the fact is, I thank you for mentioning Mr. Queen has been given the thing. I'm going to compete now to see what kind of background she has. But I think you keep on saying that the culture with the PNM and UNC is different. People have to get on board and support whoever is chosen. Probably Ms. Kamala Prasad knows something about these guys that we don't know. So I don't think she's a stupid person. So I'm 100% behind the party. And if Anil doesn't get something, I think he will be helped.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you.
Ken, good morning again.
Afternoon.
Ken, I think distress and delusion by what had taken place in life sport. Right? A man give a man $34 million for doing absolutely nothing, and you want him back as a minister back in parliament. Let us get real. Is Gary Griffith, who was Minister of National Security, that started to talk about courts in life sport? Let us be real. That is rank incompetence. I'm not saying the man was corrupt, I'm saying he was incompetent to allow that type of thing to happen in live sport. And here they are touting Anil. That is the metal of the UNC supporter. God help us. Thank you, Ken.
Okay, all right, thank you. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Hi.
Ken, how much policemen we have in this country?
Over 7,000.
Over 7,000. Where is Gary Griffith Getman? Where is Gary Griffith coming out here and advertisement and say he has 10,000 policemen?
Well, he probably has. If he says so, remember he's the boss, huh? The figure that's stuck in my head is just over 7,000, but
all the time I hear we have 7,000.
Well, I mean, he's the boss. He knows.
He had 10,000 now. This thing has so much as shooting and killing.
No, that is a right point. Yes.
And next thing again is we getting Anita in Tabaki.
I can't answer that.
That is not confirmed.
Yeah.
Not confirmed yet?
It's only speculation.
That is just around the corner. We want to know who it is coming in the area so that they can walk the area and know the people. PNM don't put on the police.
He's a literal policeman.
Well, I don't know.
Michael Seals is his name.
Has he been campaigning?
I don't see the man gone by all them businessmen around the block here. The man say even by the businessman around the block here already. And he called the businessman name them already. So I don't know what we're waiting for.
I can't provide an answer.
I'm waiting for what next week's election. They can do a brilliant job in this, brilliant work in this country, in this Tabakit area. We want somebody who could do the work just as he do.
Right.
Nobody could, if a man comes in about Ramajan, something wrong with you. Ramajan give everybody water. We never had water in Tabakit. Ramajan put water. He did a brilliant job. I was telling congratulations for that.
All right.
So we need somebody who could follow his footsteps. And at least he could walk with the person for the first time. And let everybody know, okay, I stepped down and this person takes it. It will show appreciation.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you very much. The party listens. We hope they act. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Ken, me again.
Hi.
Ken, you recall in the boat fiasco earlier o'clock with an interview on public TV and radio, was any underhand thing with the fiasco. The Prime Minister said on public radio and TV, yes, there was corruption in the acquisition of the boat, right? So it did not resign, Eric. Thanks.
Thank you. We lost this now. I'm getting several messages. One from someone, well, clearly not his correct name, Jack Spratt. Jack Spratt, I acknowledge this message. I don't know how much of it I could read, but he's suggesting, he's commenting on the UNC candidate. So we'll get back to that. A good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon again, Mr.
Hi.
Eric, it could be done. I was like a Good Friday body. Even if Miss Caroline bring him to electoral position, she will bring him to the Senate. They can beat him like a Good Friday body. He has facts and figures as regarding PNM has misrepresented the whole 4 years and how months they've been in power. They've not grown the economy, they've depressed the economy, and right now the country is suffering. When it beat COVID over the world, they couldn't figure in my head. Right now become 9-9 and in my salary.
Thank you. Now, I had in front of me here, thanks to Anne, I just want to say, because someone, it pertains to the Diego Martin seat, the conversation has moved on beyond that, but just let me say this, just hold a sec, and he had fared well, or is it the COP in 2010? In 2010, the PNM came storming back in 2015 in Diego Martin Central with Darrell Smith earning 77% of the vote, in Diego Martin Northeast with Colm Imbert earning 70%, and in Diego Martin West with Dr. Rowley earning 75%. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Ken.
Hi.
PNM have a problem with Anil Roberts because Rowley ain't afraid nobody in Parliament besides Anil Roberts and this fellow called Rudal Munilal. Rowley have a respect for them. They always Rowley to jump out and back. He have a big respect for them two fellas because he's afraid them fellas. Them fellas have facts on them. And Anil organization and talk. Why they hush up Anil? Because they can't do that. Because Anil was the man who stand up and tell Rowley, but that same water project can be done. That he was the man who bring it out. And he bring it for that, they cost a $1.something billion. And he said that was untrue. And Anil bring out the facts and show Rowley in the face. And he hush him out. So that's what they happen now with this water project that a man take $1 billion and go on and they can't find him and all kind of thing. But price higher than that. And Anna Robert show it to him in fact in the parliament. So that way he's afraid Anna Robert and Munilal, the only two fellas that back up against him and have him back against the wall. You know, PNM don't like that. So they're afraid Anna Robert. But I ain't mind if Anna Robert ain't come in as a parliamentarian, he go come in as a senator. And I want Anna Robert to be face to face with Rowley. That's the man. To back up Rowley all in them see them, they see how far you go.
Right. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have 20 minutes at the hour, straight up to 1 p.m. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ken.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
And a happy Father's Day to you, Mr. Ken.
Yes, thank you.
And that's what the caller just said. Who the opposition leader bring in Mr. Anil Robert, because Eric and them can't take Douglas politics. Yeah, that's it.
Go ahead. That's it? Okay, thank you very much. Still 20 minutes to the hour of 1 p.m. We continue to take your calls, and tomorrow from 3 to 6. And I would be back here again discussing the issues of the day and interviewing more people in and around the politics. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again, Ken.
Hi.
Ken, I wonder if your caller who called, I think it's Eric or something, he's aware of the discussion that is taking place right now concerning Carifesta and the THA House of Assembly. Now, we just hear about corruption, alleged corruption concerning kickbacks. You give a contract and who get kickback and all kind. We hear about corruption concerning cost. This level of corruption is so bold. Contract given here and no explanation. They just have $16 million unaccounted for. We have no audit taking place of billions of dollars that cannot be accounted for in the THA House of Assembly. Billions of Trinidad and Tobago taxpayer dollars that could be invested and be at least something physical of material could be shown that it's okay. You build a school and they get somebody get $5 million kickback, but nothing. And people just having this as a discussion like if it's normal. Remember when it had and this and all could explain. Remember it at the time when $10 million was a misprint in a document where a certain man was alleged. So this could be a definite example of how easy it is when people take money. We could just come and say that the error was just a comma in the wrong place or some kind of thing, and then we leave that just on and move on as the next thing here Carifesta come and they say, well, the comma was in the wrong place, and we have a misconception of this country.
Yeah, we become numbed to all the wastage and the corruption.
Yeah,
thank you.
We having discussion that $16 million missing from Carifesta and no accountability for it, and we just talking like normal, and this one talking about life spot.
We haven't spoken about Tobago yet, and the wastage in Tobago.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Have a good evening. Take care.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you.
Ken, you know, my friend, it is she who said that she continued to be distressed, disillusioned, and disappointed as to what took place in life. Sport. It was not me that say that. At the end of the day, Ken, you have to ask yourself this question. Wasn't it Mark Bassant who said in his investigation, persons who owned ghosts in life sport died, and many people, many again, continue to die for it being shut down? If that is what you want in governance after 2020, well, go ahead, go and start about platform and tell the people. Don't vex with me. I'm just saying what I read in newspaper, you know. Me make it up. Have a nice one, okay.
Thank you very much. Let's hear this. Okay, let us. We have 16 minutes more. We have 60. Let's talk to this caller. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Ken.
Yeah.
I wonder if.
Oh, we lost you. Call us back, please. Call us back. 636-7547-227-5739 at 16 minutes to the hour of 1. We'll free to call us back. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Yes.
Call my friend something. A while ago, I heard a caller say, yeah, but that is our downfall. Election is in 1 from 6 to 6. You understand? A lot of us take for granted we win already. And if they're going to say, I pay 50 votes. So that's why they ain't gone. You know, but it's our downfall by saying we win already, so we will have vote for.
Much. We just want to tell you we've spoken. Well, let's take this call and then I'll report on that. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon,
Hi.
This man Eric, he committed to meet a Good Friday body that is in the class. That is water under the bridge. We study something million the state. I can't think of the thing because they done it. You understand? They got nothing at all to shoot these billion dollars in the country. And if you want to talk about something, they talk about the NV school. Right? You can probably take a ride on that and you can know maybe.
Thank you very much. Now we've made contact with Miss Nabila Green. She has a policy. We're fortunate to have Marcia Walker talk to us, and we thank her. But the policy that it must get approval, and it is a little bit of a convoluted process. While other candidates are all over, and in Trinidad and Tobago in particular, it is about familiarity, and we are seeking to help create that for the respective parties. But I just want to report that. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Good afternoon.
Eric, I know you're listening, Eric. And I tell Battery, and I'm going to tell you again, be very, very careful how you're mentioning and the sport company. The man was exonerated in the platform at Diego Martin. You could go to the court and get the result. You cannot say things about the man. He was exonerated. Just now when Ken said Green, I thought you was going to mention one of the 4 people there who was directed. If you don't know what exonerated means, he was freed of the charge.
All right, thank you.
Court class.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Happy Sunday, happy Friday.
Oh, thank you very much.
Button Kamla?
No, I've said that they are going it alone, as they say in the politics.
Oh, I look for what?
Well, I don't know.
Against 0-0.
You have to ask the leader that.
This is about
Yeah.
the country, not about who is of the party. It's ridiculous. And who is this guy going up for point up there? Wasn't he before?
Yes, of course, he was part of what was called the People's Partnership.
Moving like that. That's the one split up the vote.
Well, that's politics, huh? That's how it goes.
Politics, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This time. This is a different kind of...
Well, you know, there's a measure if you look...
They have to merge together.
Yeah, well...
But it's a building country.
Don't tell them that. They don't understand
Hope they're
that.
listening.
Well, it wouldn't make a difference.
And carry not going down south for all the people bringing in all the weapons and forests, all the valleys. Taking over. So
We are heard.
only talking up there and I want them to go and exercise. Yeah, that's why they're shooting people can. They're shooting, they're not running down the prison, the convicts, to catch them, they're shooting to kill. Because they cannot run.
Yes.
Long time the police used to run down people.
Yeah. Not anymore. That was something called...
Good afternoon.
Ken and Ann again. Eric, in the Carifesta they had was in town. They had, well, we gave the right price. They said 28 million, and some of them saying 43 million. Which is the right price?
No, they budgeted 50 million. Then they got an additional, I think it is 12. I couldn't be sure.
Who thieved the $16 million in the Carifesta? They said they get 28 million. They give an account for 12. Eric, who thieved it? The lady thieved it? Who is the minister? Who thieved it, Eric? Come on, that's who thieved it, that.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
To wish you a happy Father's Day.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
And I wanted to tell listeners out there who are single that happy Father's Day. Keep being a good man to your children. And
We lost her. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Get my cake with our money.
Sorry, say again?
It have 10,000 police officers.
Okay.
3,000 of them on suspension.
Oh, God, don't say that. Well, I know one of whom is Dwayne O'Connor, the PNM man.
Calypsonian.
Yeah, Calypsonian, former monarch in 2012. Good afternoon to you.
Hey, Mr. Ali.
Sir.
This is my Prasad mash up Eric and them bid with the COVID boy. You tell them they have no chance right now. You want to ride like sports in that, remember? I'll go.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ken and Ann.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Nice to hear from you.
Another thing.
Mm-hmm.
I hear Imbert when he went in the office, when he first went into the Ministry of Sport.
Mm-hmm.
He said he made 500 million in the Ministry of Sport. He said, would you all believe that? 500 million. So if Anil the thief out the money, how Imbert could say that?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to tell Ms. Kamla, we need Anil around, or MP or something, but we need Anil.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know why? They feel like a top over everybody, but Anil will stand up for them.
Yeah.
You see, Ken, it has some people,
Mm-hmm.
You have to have people with big mouth. Anyhow you take it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have everybody sitting down quiet. You understand? So we need Anil. You too.
Yes.
Yeah, okay then.
Thank you very much. I like how she put it on. 7 minutes to the hour of 1. We remind you that we continue the discussion tomorrow from 3 to 6. We'll remind you of some other things, but let's hear this caller. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, Mr. Ken, me again.
Hi.
You know what? Any police work them, everybody has to run. But this man have a particular thing, he got to run. So the police and this man going to that much big dream. So they cut it off and they get suspended because they didn't have no dream. Now he had to run with foot. So they stopped them from running.
Okay. So that the man with the broken foot. All right.
He had an advantage.
It's such a big dream.
Yes.
But when it comes to it had no dream.
Yes.
So they start like that. They always say, okay.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Hello,
story.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ken.
Good afternoon, sir.
Calling from football.
Hi.
Concerning it, just come on my mind. Concerning the 210 that they rent for how much? $1 million?
No. They told us the figure was 97,000, but it was initially the quote was for
that kind of money. That's a house.
Yeah, I tell you.
A house with air conditioning and everything. Bathroom on top. Oh Lord.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, indeed. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Mr. Ali.
Yes.
These people trying to run down Anil. Anil didn't do anybody anything. He didn't take any money from the state. The contract with the people, they were Daniel. It went bad because of civil servants' errors. And this government did not try to only to use it against Anil. Anil did a lot of good work for the underprivileged in not only in the corridor, all over Trinidad. He set up all kind of sports, all kind of things. He built different. They left it with that company because it suited them for things like today. But that cannot perpetuate because what is happening is the government that wants to come in, the UNC, is a progressive government. And they cannot hold anything against those people who are incumbents and who aspiring to become MPs. They can compare. Do you know that the PNM dropped 11 incumbents? Ask them why. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I didn't say much on Anil, but as we come to the end of the show, let me talk a bit about the Anil Roberts matter. Now, Eric was very selective in his language, and I noted what he said. He didn't talk about a conviction of Anil Roberts because there was no conviction. He was talking about something. Now, I tried to Google it after, and I didn't find that, which doesn't mean it didn't exist. But he's suggesting that Mrs. Prasad Bisesa had criticized Anil Roberts, and because of that, he should not be in the political front line. Now, I didn't find that, but Eric, I'm assuming that you're correct. The equation. My mind goes back to Mr. Manning strongly criticizing Rowley and also criticizing, asking about where the money gone, putting into a certain $20 million, for which Dr. Rowley was also not convicted. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, Mr. Ali. Where the money gone? Eric can't remember that.
Right.
And then the line minister, Dana Gickford, said it wasn't 10 million, it was 20 million.
Yes, that's right.
And you remember the one woman inquiry into the Scarborough Hospital? That Mr. Manning set up to find out if Keith Rowley or his agents were siphoning material from the Scarborough to his private business in Landgate.
For which he was also cleared, I want to also say that.
Yes, by the Integrity Commission, not the courts,
Yes.
The Integrity Commission, because one of the recommendations from that former Chief Justice was that they pay the act.
Yes, that is.
That was one of the recommendations. Of course, the police never take it. What about the $2 million, the $60 million Las Alturas in Mova? That the technical people said that the ground was not good to put no building there, but people had to get a kickback, so they went and built it anyhow. The UNC had to spend $2 million to break it down, Mr. Ali. And in Aguanas, I believe there's 2 big buildings there, I think about 500 or something. 2 big I saw up there where he started to build and never finished, and millions of dollars going down the drain. Eric don't see all them things, and they went and make him Prime Minister.
Thank you.
Arnold Robert mentioned in the audit report. It never once mentioned in the audit report. You come here to talk about Arnold Robert.
Right. Okay.
Take out the big telephone from your eye, Mr. Edwards' eye.
Thank you very much. We got to go on that note. We are almost at 1. We've had 3 wonderful hours. I want to thank Dr. Fuad Khan. I want to thank Dr. Indira Prasad, and we'll have both of them back with us. Your calls continue to come, but we've got to go. We've had 3 wonderful hours. We thank you very much for being with us. We thank our many callers, and to tell you, we will be back from 3 to 6 tomorrow to pick up the political discussions. We aim to talk to candidates and analysts and so on, and we're aiming to do that heading straight to the election. We thank us and our audience wherever you are. We are, of course, also on several social media platforms, including on YouTube, RCLU 975. I thank our colleague Shiva Parasram for being with us. Your calls and your several messages. We don't always get the time to acknowledge all the messages. We thank you very much. We urge you to continue to stay tuned because Sharon has some wonderful music today to entertain us all. Special music, I imagine, with a flair toward Father's Day. Great celebration for fathers. Happy Father's Day to all fathers and all who play the role of fathers. Thank you again. Have yourselves a wonderful afternoon.
FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.